To those who step up to work the sunrise shift, power through the double shifts, or conquer the overnighters, McDonald's wants to serve you a tasty breakfast at a great price. Enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with egg, a warm chicken McGriddles, or a flaky McChicken biscuit for just $2 each. Swing by McDonald's today. No matter the shift, we're happy to serve you. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
You raised a different kind of girl.
I'm going to be rich and no one will ever see me again.
I felt somebody touch my shoulder.
That's the only thing I care about.
This is some really messed up logic that you have.
We are here. I don't think anybody thought we'd make it here, but it is my wedding podcast, my wedding weekend.
I like that you don't think that anybody thought we'd make it here.
No, I don't. Listen, my parents, my mom, we're going to have my mom on the podcast here in a little bit. I don't think they ever thought I'd get married. I never thought I'd get married. But then also, even after this, we got engaged, even during the podcast, there's been some ups and downs. And who knew if COVID was going to keep postponing it?
Well, but it's funny because I think back of when I first met you. And yes, I think the idea that we would be talking about your wedding this week, right? Like your wedding is this week. That never crossed my mind. Like that was I did not think, you're right. I didn't think we'd be here. But that was also 11, 12 years ago. I mean, yep. And I was thinking back, before we jumped on today to record, I was thinking back of where the beginning of the podcast was, and it was a lot of it was talking about our journey with our partner. And I don't think you thought even in the beginning of your relationship that we'd be here today. Like you were doing the whole push them away sort of thing. I'm just going to go off and be on my own for the rest of my life.
Yes. And like full disclosure, I'm very honest about these things because I think it makes it mean even more when we do have all these great moments. Like even after we got engaged, there was a day where, I was in the office and I was like, I don't know. I don't think this is it. Like there was a fight. It was bad. But oddly enough, the pandemic cured everything for us.
But also, the conversation you and I had that day, and I remember that was a really tough day, but the conversation was, and this is, as you mentioned, after you got engaged, and having, I think, that level of commitment prevents you from being able to just walk away. You know what I mean? Like at some point you have to say, okay, maybe there are some doubts, maybe there's uncertainty, but we at least owe it to each other to really explore it versus just saying, nope, I'm done. Not going to work. This was a terrible idea. Bye-bye.
Yeah. We just had no idea how to fight is honestly if people are like, what happened? We had no idea how to fight. All of our fights were just like so dumb. Just it went into name calling or whatever. And that's never how you end. That's never how you should fight. That's not what you should do. And since then, I've gone to therapy. We've gone to therapy together. We've figured out how to communicate. We don't just like fight through text all the time. And now any fight we have is like over within 2 hours because we're actually talking it out.
Well, and I think too, I mean, people make a big deal about love language, but like in my mind, there's also a fight language. Like you have to be able to know how the other person fights, just to be able to, because you're right, it can get very destructive if you don't, right? If you're not on the same page, or at least if you don't understand where the other person's coming from or their process when they're upset, man, it can get bad. And I think that's what you guys figured out shortly after, or maybe not shortly after, but after that kind of blow up.
Yeah. And Hoodie's over there like, oh yeah, fight language too.
He's like, I'm going to write that one down. I'm going to write a book actually. Okay. That love language book made a lot of money. I just need someone to back up my whole, like someone with like a PhD or an MD or something like that. They just have to back up the whole fight language thing. And then I'm going to be rich and no one will ever see me again. And you can buy my book in paperback or hardcover or whatever it is. I'll be down in Key West selling hot dogs on the street. Bye-bye.
Okay, great. Well, now the podcast is over. Spoiler alert. No, this is supposed to be fun though. I like to reflect back on how far we've come, and I honestly feel like I have never felt more sure about it now. I have also been worried, like, oh my God, I know everyone gets the cold feet. Everyone gets like that nerves. I'm not nervous at all. I feel so confident in what this is going to be. I know that when I'm walking down the aisle, I'm going to be happily emotional and it's going to be good. We figured it out.
Yeah, I think you are, in my mind at least, you're the type of bride that will not have the freak out on the day of the wedding. Like you've already gone through all that, and so you're just like, now, you know, as you said, you're sure, you know it, and it's time.
The only
I think
way
it's almost more about a party for you.
Yeah. The only way I'm going to freak out is if A, my lights aren't working, and B, if everybody else around me is freaking out, I'm going to freak out, which...
But by the way, if the lights aren't working, who cares?
That's the only thing I care about.
Well, that shouldn't be. You're going to find, I'm sure there's going to be something that goes wrong. And so you're just going to need to have it in your mind that I'm just going to roll with whatever happens. Whatever happens, happens.
I do know that. And I've been saying that for a couple weeks, especially after you listen to this podcast. I hope so many people have been listening before their wedding, because you find out when we had all those brides on, you find out that something goes wrong at every single wedding. It's fine. You get over it. People don't notice. You notice, you talk about it. It's fine. You move on. That's what I've been trying to tell my mom. So we're about to call my mom. That's who won the poll. And this woman, I mean, she is freaking out. She keeps telling me how sick she is all week. I'm like, I don't need to know this. Like, just stay calm.
She's
and then
sick?
She's so nervous that she's sick. I'm like, there's nothing for you to be nervous about. She's like, I want it to be perfect. And then I tell her, it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. I'd rather go in thinking it's going to be the worst day of my life, because then it'll feel really great when it's the best.
This is some really messed up logic that you have. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard somebody say, all I'm thinking about my wedding is that it's going to be the worst day of my life, so I'm not disappointed. That is messed up.
I don't like being disappointed.
I know, I understand. It's just like you just said, 3 days before your wedding, I'm thinking of it like it's going to be the worst day of my life. Think about that. Well, it's really messed up.
I'm not thinking it's actually going to be. I'm just like bringing down my expectations. You have to.
Okay.
All right, let's get her on though. I mean, full disclosure, this woman's over here trying to make 800 Jell-O shots. I'm not exaggerating, 800.
I saw the picture of that, by the way. I didn't know if I should be like nervous or excited. I mean, on one level, I'm very excited because I do like a good Jell-O shot. But yeah. I mean, that's quite the undertaking.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how are you? What was that?
My nerves are shot.
She's been telling me she's sick all week. What are you sick about? What are you nervous about?
I don't know.
Should we start at worst case scenarios? Like, what's the worst that can happen this weekend?
Okay, you want to know what I'm most worried about?
Yeah.
Most worried about running out of food and or drink.
Neither of those are going to be a thing.
That's what I'm most worried about for people, because, we're hosting people and I don't want them to go hungry.
She's like from that generation where if somebody comes over, the first thing you have to do is offer them food and drink. But like, we don't do that anymore. People bring their own stuff.
No.
But also, that's not a thing. We're going to have plenty of food for people.
This is a wedding. People don't bring their own stuff to a wedding.
Correct. To the wedding part, they are not.
But like to the camping part, like if people are camping, I would think that they would bring something, right? I mean, like a Twix bar or something.
Yes, they are bringing. I told them that they are having Bud Light kegs on Friday, and if they want something else extra, and Jell-O shots, and if they want extra,
okay,
they can bring their fancy stuff. Which, by the way, Jell-O shots, Mom. How many have you made?
I don't know, 500.
Oh my God.
And people,
I don't know, 600.
People listening probably think she's joking or exaggerating. That is not the case here.
Pies I made. Okay, so I made caramel apple pie, banana split, banana boat, cosmopolitan, orange dreamsicle, cherry limeade, rum and coke, Hawaiian. I don't know.
I mean, this sounds amazing. I'm excited just hearing that list. Mm-hmm. I want to try one of each.
And she made a dirty banana dessert, frozen pudding dessert.
Ooh.
I haven't made those yet. I'm doing that tonight.
Oh, okay.
I only made the tasters.
What would you say you're most excited for? Instead of, let's not focus on the negative. What are you excited about?
Seeing everybody.
Okay. And your Jell-O shots. We know you light up with your Jell-O shots.
What?
We know that you light up when you make your Jell-O shots, so I know you're excited about those too.
No.
She is never this quiet. That's how you know something is, her heart is pounding right now. You're going to have a heart attack before my wedding. Can you please just relax?
No. I woke up at 4 this morning. I woke up at 5 yesterday morning.
We need to call Rob's parents at some point too, just to see if they were this nervous, because.
No, he's the groom. So he's the groom. I wasn't this nervous for mine.
I know. So what's the difference?
Because we host it.
Kind of. But like.
What do you mean?
No one's going to be, if something goes wrong, they're not going to be like, oh, Kim and Dave, those party plokers, they really threw a terrible party.
Yes, they are.
No, that's right. Nobody is going to say that, but I don't think anything's going to go wrong. I don't think I think this is a good, especially the group of people that you're going to assemble for your wedding. I think it's just going to roll. I think it's going to be great.
A lot of people are saying that. It's different, right? It's different.
Yeah.
It's way different.
I have bad news. You raised a different kind of girl than most girls.
I know. Somebody that yesterday. I said, she's a different soul. So,
And it's your fault.
That it's not typical. I like that part.
We asked some people first questions, and someone wanted to know what you would do differently in my wedding planning process.
Oh, my God.
Everything.
I would have done several things way earlier.
We had
I would not be sewing skirts 4 days before the wedding.
That probably should have been done earlier. That part should have been done.
I thought you were doing that, EB.
I was over at her house. And then it didn't come out the way I wanted. And then also my Adderall wore off right in the middle of sewing it. And it went off the rails pretty literally. So she's finishing it up. And then I also had to order some extras just in case, whatever. Yeah. So maybe I should have done the skirts a little bit earlier. That's one thing. But everything else is pretty much fine with timing wise.
You think so?
Yeah. We've gone over this on this here podcast about how we have different deadlines.
Exactly.
How do you feel about my hair?
What about it?
How it's going to be purple.
It's not going to be. It's not purple.
I mean, you saw it on set.
The top's not purple, and you're wearing it pulled back.
Oh, so in her mind, it's blonde.
Right.
Rob's face.
I'm scared.
Yeah, it could be.
What are you going to do with the purple part?
Cut it.
She's going to cut it right off. She's going to put in extensions while I'm sleeping.
Oh my God.
What do you think you spent too much time or money on?
Jell-O shots.
How many trips to Home Goods did you have?
Oh, I go there all the time anyway.
It is the best store.
I don't think I spent too much money on anything. I don't know.
People also want to...
The bridal feud game, man. I spent lots and lots of time on that.
The bridal feud?
Yes.
Oh. You didn't use the internet?
A lot. Huh?
You didn't use the internet?
Well, I did, but I had to make it and I had to search for it. It just took a lot of time.
She did. I think we talked about this too. She had like a whole board and she would pull off the construction paper to reveal the answers.
Ooh, okay.
People want to know what your wedding was like and how it compares to mine.
Oh, listen. Well, first off, I got married in a church, which was important to me. Secondly, we had a reception in a Knights of Columbus hall.
I mean, that's how it was then, right?
Okay.
That's how it was then. So at the time, that's what we wanted. That's what we had.
What went wrong on your wedding day?
I don't think anything. It rained.
I bet things went wrong. You just forgot about them because they didn't matter. What was your favorite part of your wedding day?
I don't know.
Could be starting your life together with somebody. It could be the vows.
No.
No.
Talk about the most, and this is so stupid, but I didn't want to go here, but really the thing I remember the most is my dad and I were getting ready to walk down the aisle. We were both incredibly nervous. We were kind of off to the side of the aisle while my bridesmaids went down. And I had lost my grandmother 2 months before, who I was incredibly close to, but wasn't thinking about her at all. And as my dad and I were standing there, I felt somebody touch my shoulder.
Yeah.
Burst into tears. So that's what I remember about my wedding day.
Which speaking...
Crazy talk.
No, not at all. Because Rob, and we... Whoa. I think I just kept cutting her off. But so when we were sewing these skirts the other day, my grandmother, who passed, a year and a half ago, she was always the person who taught us how to sew and was the big sewer. And I was like, she's going to hate the way I'm doing this. I already know it because I have no pattern. I'm just like winging it. She always hated when I did that. Rob, my mom and I are standing at the table, not anywhere near the sewing machine, and it just starts going.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm like, well, hi, Mom. Like, you're here. Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah. Wild.
You probably should go into this topic, but yeah.
I like it. You could do a whole thing on like encounters.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mom, we're taking some bets. The biggest bet, though, that we've already talked about, kind of you and me, is will Dad cry?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, that's your official.
That was definitive. That was a definitive yes.
How many times are you going to cry, do you think?
How many beers do I have first?
Well, trust me, I will be overloading you with mimosas that morning because that is the way to calm you down.
Okay, then probably a lot.
I don't know. It might make you cry less. Who knows? All right. Any last things you need to get off your chest before the wedding?
I think the big thing, so if you have people out there who are getting married and mothers and daughters who are interacting, communication would have been good.
Oh.
Communication would have kept me from being so nervous.
That's not true, because then she asks a lot of questions and then she tells me what I'm doing is wrong.
No, listen. No, like today, like I'm all worried about camp people having breakfast and you say, I've got it covered. Okay, well, if I had known that, it would have saved me some worry.
But I knew that if I sent you the email that I sent to everybody camping, that you would have then yelled at me for things that I said in the camp email. So I just left you and Dad off of it.
Oh. Okay, whatever. Excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. Hopefully all goes well.
Everything's going to be great. We're not going to have to do anything after 3 p.m. on Friday besides have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
What about the bagels? Are you going to set up bagels?
No, we're not.
Yeah.
No, we're not. You're going to be playing as my partner in cornhole. That's what you're going to be doing. You're not going to be worrying about other people who don't matter as bagels. All right. I love you very much, Mom. It's going to be a great weekend.
All right. Love you.
We'll see you this weekend.
How do we get out of here?
I think there's an end call, like a red square button.
Should say leave.
Yep, there she goes. Okay, so there was that.
Wow, she's got some feelings for you. I mean, she went there.
I've never heard her pause between, like, after asking a question before. She was there was like 8 breaths between answering.
Well, a lot of the answers were quite short too, which leads me to believe that she is laser focused right now.
Yeah. And let me I get my talking skills from her. So
you are in the communication business, and her biggest complaint was that you did not communicate. So that is something.
I didn't communicate for a reason. Sometimes you got to keep people out of it. You know, it's like, it's the same thing in a relationship. There are some things you got to keep away from each other because there are reasons for that.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Maxine. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, I love mentoring the new associates to help them make this a career and not just a job.
And with new opportunities and job stability, Geico has been helping people grow their careers for over 75 years. The only downside, she still hasn't met the gecko. Where are you, fella?
Ready to start your career, Buffalo? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Buffalo.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country, offering over 200 engaging programs online. GCU invests in high-demand areas such as nursing, teaching, and the sciences. Students engage with faculty who become partners in your success. GCU's online students received over $100 million in scholarships in 2020. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for.
All I'm saying is she feels some kind of way about the way you planned this wedding.
Yes. And I keep trying to tell her too, there's other things that she's like, well, I need answers on it. I'm like, Mom, we have a planner for that. Like, we hired Remembered Events to do this for us. Let's just trust that they got it and walk away, you know?
All right, but you know, something I learned with my planner and something I learned with really any of the vendors that we used, trust is very important. Trust but verifying is even more important.
Yes. I agree. Lots of verifying.
Yeah, verification, key.
So I'm going to send, or not I'm going to send, but we're all going to kind of have our bets that we're going to make separately, and then we'll go over it after the wedding, which... Full disclosure, probably won't be an episode next week because I'll have my mini moon and then whatever. But after we come back, we'll talk about everything. And we'll have bets like, you know, who's going to cry. You said earlier, will there be blood shed? We'll talk about that.
I do think, and I'll tell you my reasoning behind the fact that I definitely think there's going to be bloodshed is, I mean, we're not talking about just a wedding. We're not, this is a weekend of camping, and yeah, somebody's going to have some bloodshed. It's going to it's inevitable. I feel like.
Hoodie.
I just want to put it in the bet. Like, is someone random going to pop up at this wedding? Because it's like a campground, so there could be a Boy Scout, a hiker, a random animal. Something could happen.
MKTO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. You never know.
I by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden they were singing classic, like just at the campfire. Is there going to be a campfire?
Yeah. I will say that we were really hoping to get Mufasa, who does the "It's Friday Then" and Saturday, because he's from around here. But there was talk about it, but I don't think it's actually happening.
Shouldn't you know at this point?
Well, we asked people to make it a surprise. But I've welcomed crashers, so yeah, sure.
Well, this is going to be quite exciting. The whole thing. And I realize the weekend's kind of about you, but I have planned it all out. I've been in touch with Lori because I know when Lori's coming in from New York, and, we're all getting to the hotel around the same time. And then obviously we got the big Friday night thing, and then Michigan plays on Saturday. It's a noon game, so that's great. It will not interfere with your wedding. So we'll find a nice chain restaurant to go to that has the Michigan game on, and then we'll watch that. And then it'll probably be time to, start getting ready. So we don't miss the shuttle. Can't miss the shuttle. Mm-mm. That's key.
Very key.
Yeah. And then it's on and popping.
Yeah. And that's how I was with your wedding too. We had one of our other friends who live up here. They're like, you're going to Key West? We're going to go to Key West too. We're like, okay.
I mean, it's just a good place to be. You don't have to be there for the wedding, right? It's like, it's still a vacation. It's still a few days in Key West. Okay, sounds great. Mm-hmm. When we're not doing the wedding festivities, we'll see you.
We'll also take bets on how many kind of random surprises there will be, not just the people, and if will anything make me a bridezilla, and also how will JB act?
I think the only thing that will make you a bridezilla, I really don't think anything will go wrong, but my prediction on what will make you a bridezilla is somebody doing something. Or somebody not doing something. Like if you see somebody not having a good time for whatever reason, and it could be something going on in their life, it could be they got an argument with someone, whatever. If you see someone that you don't think they're having a good time, and by the way, maybe they are having a good time, they just don't look like they're having a good time, that'll make you a bridezilla.
Fact.
Yeah.
I have the history of this podcast. Kind of started with this ex that, you've been tormenting and teasing. Will he show up, make an appearance? I don't know if you invited him or not, but he just somehow knows and finds out. And this is where we see him in real life. This could be
I sent him the address.
Okay.
No, but he was not invited, right?
No.
There was no way. No, okay.
I would say before this whole game started, there's a chance he could have been, but no. We can take the bets on if he'll say anything or even like my photo.
That's interesting. Are you going to be one of those people that afterwards, when you post like your first post after you got married and you have like pictures from, either the ceremony or the reception or whatever, that first post, are you going to be the person that goes through and sees every single person that likes it and then takes stock in your mind of who didn't like it?
No, absolutely not. But there are friends of mine who are really also invested into this game, and they do these things.
I also over under on celebrities. Like, I wonder how many celebrities will or will not be there.
We gotta a definition of celebrities.
I think in my mind, somebody on the national scene, whether it's music, sports, entertainment, whatever, I think they have to have national notoriety for me to be able to say celebrity. Because otherwise, I mean, you could say any radio person that comes, oh, they're a celebrity, they're on the radio. But radio people are not celebrities.
Right. Okay. So stay. I don't know. Maybe we can pull together a podcast on Thursday when I get back. We'll see. We'll see. Right. We'll see.
We'll see. That's what we call a tease, a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's going to happen.
Let's get into the aisle pile, though.
Oh my God, you prepared an aisle pile?
Yeah.
I did not expect that. I thought we were just going to obsess on what's going to happen this weekend.
No,
all right, aisle pile. Let's go.
So there is a bridezilla battling with her maid of honorzilla because they are both, I don't know, do you call it an owner of one of those pyramid scheme makeup things? So let's say like one is Mary
I don't know
Kay.
if it's an owner. Yeah, it's like what is it? Like the Avon or whatever those things are. Yeah.
Like a member, a seller. A seller. I think that's what you call it. So they're sellers.
I had a neighbor that was doing that and was trying to get Mallory to buy. And it was like, it got awkward.
Yeah. And you try to say no, or like maybe when my stuff runs out. So then they come back in a month. They're like, is it run out yet? No. Tough.
They're persistent. I got to give them credit for that. I mean, they don't take no for an answer, and they must like do like Outlook reminders and like, oh, we got to follow up.
I can't believe how they work, but yeah. So the bride had one, maid of honor had the other. So the bride, first of all, being a bridezilla, was like, The only makeup you're allowed to use on my wedding day is this makeup that I sell. You have to buy this $90 kit, which is so absurd.
Wait, I'm sorry. I got to take a different side of this. That's so brilliant. Like, she's trying to meet her quota. She sees this as an opportunity. I can't totally be mad at that.
Oh my God. Here you go again, going on the bad guy side.
I mean, it's smart.
And then the maid of honor hosts the bridal shower, and she has her display of her makeup and forces everybody to buy that.
Listen, if you can't recognize a good marketing opportunity when you see it, I don't even know. I mean, you have a captive audience. You can put your product on display. You can sell a little bit, make a little bit of money, maybe get someone to buy into the whole scheme so you make a lot of money. Any good business person will tell you, do not let those moments pass you by. They don't come around all the time.
I can't stand you sometimes. So anyway, the maid of honor ended up getting kicked out of the wedding, and now they don't speak anymore. Over makeup.
They tell you not to mix family and business.
Yeah.
And maybe friends and business. You know, I mean, there's a reason for that.
Weddings and business.
Sure.
There is a mom who is not going to be going to her son's wedding. So she has two sons that when they were it sounds like one was 20, one was 16 or something. There was this huge situation where Daniel was blamed for Isaiah's wrongdoing. So Isaiah went over to Isaiah's girlfriend's house and stole jewelry, stole a bunch of things, money, whatever, and somehow was able to pin it on Daniel legally.
Wow. Daniel
was like, I can't believe you're throwing me under the bus like this for something I didn't even do. I'm never speaking to you again, which I think rightfully so. That's not, you got in trouble because they came in late from a party or whatever. So they don't speak anymore. So now Daniel is getting married and invited his parents, obviously. They still speak, but did not invite Isaiah. Mom said she's not going unless Isaiah can go. Daniel's like, he's not invited. We don't speak. He tried to ruin my life. So now mom's not going to go?
The loyalty, I mean, I don't even know, because there's a loyalty issue there someplace. Maybe a couple different issues, but...
Why do parents, like, I understand that you want to believe that your kid does no wrong and, like, you want to side with them and you'll hide their dead body or whatever, but, like, at some point you got to realize there's another kid here who was harmed, and you can still love and support both of them. But if one kid does not want his brother there, then that's it. That's his decision. Mom still needs to go.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Again, it's like families, there's too much emotion tied up. And of course there is, right? And that's a ridiculous thing to say, but it's like, if the mom would have thought about this whole situation logically, I think she would have come to a different conclusion. But obviously she wasn't thinking about it logically. She was thinking about it emotionally. And so she's taking a stand, which is a dumb stand, but I guess to each your own.
Mm-hmm. Here's another interesting predicament. There is a guy getting married, right? His best friend is a girl. She is the best woman in the wedding. She is writing this on the internet looking for advice. They were both religious, both virgins, but then they decided that since they have such a connection, they should have sex before his wedding. So they did. So they both lost their virginity to each other after he was engaged, after she was in the wedding, or like asked to be in the wedding, but before the wedding. So now she's wondering if she should still be in the wedding.
No! Wait, they shouldn't even be getting married.
Right.
I mean, that's the answer. There shouldn't be a wedding.
Right.
Because that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Like,
what's wrong with people?
And she's saying that she doesn't want to back out because then people will ask questions and then it'll eventually come out. And I'm like, that's true. That's awkward. But like, you guys, what did you think was going to happen?
But why even the decision to do it?
Right.
Like I have a lot of questions about how that decision got made.
This was into like one of those Dear Prudence or whatever things, and whoever
was it like tequila driven?
Whoever responded was like, you should pull out of this wedding before he has another reason to pull out. Like, damn.
I think the bride is going to find out. Mm-hmm. It has to happen at some point. And it's going to be so terrible. I don't know. Don't have the wedding. Call it off. This is bad.
He's going to end up feeling so guilty that he's just going to be like, I'm sorry, forgive me. But she's not.
Well, maybe she will. I mean, you got to question her judgment too. She's marrying the guy.
True. There was a couple that had a fly-in wedding. So the groom and his 4 groomsmen all flew in their own individual planes onto this field while she got a ride down in an old Chevrolet.
It's cool and everything, but it's like you got to think about the carbon footprint of that, because that feels like that's not good for the environment to have like 4 different planes flying in. But I mean, I bet it looked cool.
You're on the Bridezilla side, but oh God, the carbon footprint of 5 tiny planes. Great.
Yeah. It was the first thing that came to mind.
And I had no idea that Bill and Melinda Gates had any kids. So all of a sudden you start seeing Jennifer Gates got married. I'm like, oh, who knew?
Don't they have a lot of kids? Like,
Maybe.
Don't they have
it
a
looks
few?
like a pretty large family.
Yeah. You know, but I like it. I mean, their divorce obviously has been in the news and looks pretty ugly. Let's be honest. I like the fact that they kind of put it all aside and they both walked her down the aisle. I thought that was nice. Who knows what they said, if they said anything to each other beforehand. I don't know. But I did think that was kind of a nice thing.
I agree. And I am realizing between this wedding and then when we talked about Luke Bryan's niece's wedding a couple weeks ago, if you want people to think that you spend a lot of money on your wedding, just get a bunch of white flowers. That's it. They just have tons of white flowers everywhere.
Good tip. Lots of flowers, white flowers.
That's it. I mean, they probably are expensive. That's maybe why they're at all these expensive weddings. And the actual tip of the week, however, I have not opened this app, but David's Bridal is the latest to come up with an entire wedding planning app. To be honest, I haven't used the Knot in a while. I did in the beginning. David's Bridal is probably like only buy our dresses and everything we sell.
But don't you think, and I could be wrong about this, don't you think that just being, I mean, David's Bridal is a pretty big company, but a lot of those brick and mortar stores have gone out of business, I've noticed. And I'm not saying, I haven't Googled it to see how many they still have open, but like just driving around places, like you see a lot of David's Bridals out of business. And I wonder if they needed to shift their business model to a more online, e-commerce sort of thing where they can focus on not just dresses. That's
probably very true. Even the place, my mom got her dress around here when she got married. And when we went to pick up my dress, we found out that place had closed. And we're like, that's been around for 40 years and is now closing because of COVID, which is wild.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think so many people are just not going to a store to buy a dress. I don't know. Like, I think Mallory did a bunch of like online Googling. Like she was looking more for, I think, specific designers that she liked versus like stores to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely the way to do it too. All right. Well, guess now I got to start really getting the wedding stuff done.
I love that. That's how you're going to end this thing. I guess it's time to get the wedding stuff done.
Yeah. We're about 48 hours from packing up the van and heading on our way. So yeah, I think I should probably make my last minute purchases, organize some things, pack up.
Do you have a little checklist of things you need to bring?
Several.
So you don't forget stuff. I mean, you're not going to be so far that if you forgot something, I mean, you could obviously send somebody back, but like you don't want to.
I'm like, if we left something, it's got to be something real important for us to send somebody back.
Hopefully JB doesn't forget the booze he bought.
Yes, he got that. He's very proud of it. Thank you for your...
Let me tell you, he sent me the picture of those bottles. I was very proud of him. I'm like, that's strong. He's going to have a nice time.
I'm going to send him a picture right now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and he did. And then he sent me the picture of the glass he's going to use with the half like ice in it. Oh, yeah, I'm excited for him.
All right, well, where can we find you guys? Because you're going to be at the wedding. Maybe you'll post some things.
Do you want us posting things? Because I always like to ask that. Like, do we wait until you post something before we can post, or you're okay? Okay.
You do it. Do the thing.
Is there a hashtag people should seek out?
EBNJB. That's it.
EBN or EB and?
And.
Okay, so EB and JB.
Really?
How'd you come up with that?
Well, we took my name and then we took his name. And when you take two things and put them together, it's an and in between.
Wow. Creative.
Yeah.
For the most creative person I have ever met, and I honestly believe that's probably you. That is the most
That's so
basic.
Rude. That's so rude. Here's the thing. Ploger doesn't go with anything. That's my last name. His name is Barlow, but I'm not taking it. So that makes it harder. And
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it'll be easy for people to find it, which I guess is the point of a hashtag. But it's like some people like try to get super creative with the hashtag, and it maybe to the point where it's overkill. But like, I did expect something a little bit different.
I would have gone with like Plolo or something, but that's a whole thing. We're not combining last names. So, and when we even when people were taking our last names and trying to come up with it, my mom was like, oh, it should be Setting the Barlow. I'm like, oh, no, that's not.
By the way, super creative. I mean, wildly insulting, but super creative.
Right. And also not what she's doing for this weekend. She's not setting any bar at all low. It's all way too high.
Oh, I am so excited for this weekend. I have just gotten like 10 times more excited from this podcast.
Oh my God. Hoodie, are you prepared for a time in the woods?
I'm excited. I'm excited. I know there's going to be a moment where I'm like, I got to put the jacket over Maura. I always love those cute little moments. That's what this wedding allows. And I'm excited for that. I've never been to a Plogerpalooza or anything like this. This is the closest I'm going to get to seeing what these are all about.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. And I think I've only been to one or two, but it's wild.
Hopefully we live up to the Plogerpalooza hype. But okay, yeah. Where are you guys at? Where's your socials?
You can find me at Rob Cruz, ROBKRUZ.
At Andrew Hoodie. There's a Y there.
Mm-hmm. I'm just finally at Elizabethany and at the very creative hashtag EBandJB. And of course, the podcast at 3 Weddings Pod. Have a great week. Happy stalking. We did it, everybody. I think. As long as he doesn't run away.
He won't run away.
He's not.
For 40 years, Michael Myers has haunted this town. He is the essence of evil, and evil dies tonight.
Halloween Kills, rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent. In theaters and streaming only on Peacock now.